This part of the Gospel of Matthew, not just the passage for today, but this part of the Gospel of Matthew contains a series of parables about the kingdom of heaven, the eschaton, the end of time, and eternity. And these parables are just one after the other, kind of layering understandings and helpful and instructive for how we live now. They are, and they're intended to be, because Jesus is telling these parables to those who are there in front of him in that moment, and who will continue on, and who will instruct those after them in how to live in this meantime of waiting for Jesus to return again. And what will that be like? And what does that mean for us now? Last week, we had the parable of the bridesmaids waiting for the bridegroom to arrive, and what they did to prepare, bringing the extra oil, or not, how they took care of what they needed to do in the meantime. And this week, we have this parable of the servants and the talents, and just a point of clarification, talents being a unit of money, and what they do in the meantime. How this first part is written is really interesting. The master entrusts his property, his money, these talents, to these three. They are entrusted with property that is not theirs, to steward in the meantime. I know, we're a couple weeks late on that with our stewardship series. But as we know, stewardship really is a whole life practice, and therefore is relevant to talk about at any point in the year. So maybe it is a good thing that this landed where it did in the lectionary. In any case, the master leaves the servants with his property, and he does so according to the ability of each. He's kind of essentially saying, I know you can do this. And that sentiment is backed up by his actions. I know you can do this, and I'm giving you the resources from my own pocket to make it happen. Now, the first two take a look at what they've been entrusted with, and, I can almost imagine them essentially saying, okay, we've been entrusted with this, and we'll figure it out. Now, the third doesn't hear the message, or maybe isn't there for it or something, because rather than see this as an act of trust and empowerment and responsibility, the third doesn't do anything but hide away the talent so he doesn't lose it. Now, to be fair, it is a lot of money. It is. A talent was 6,000 denarii, and one denarius is essentially a daily wage. So thinking with a 6-day work week, like a week with a Sabbath, 52 times 6, 312, 6,000 divided by 312 is 19.23 years worth of work at a daily wage. So one talent, if you're working for a daily wage, 9.23, so 9 1/4 years worth of work. So one, this master has a lot. And two, it would be intimidating to be put in charge of that much. But they are. These servants are given something to do something with. They're entrusted to be a steward of the master's property. It's a parable about the meantime. So taking a lesson from that, we can ask ourselves the same question. What are we doing with what we've been given in the meantime? Are we out there working with, tending to, caring for what we've been given? Or are we locking it up, packing it away, maybe checking occasionally that it's still there, but not really doing what we should with it? Last week, we had the idea of preparing, being ready and thinking about what that means with the oil. And this week, we're considering what we do with what's been given to us. What has been entrusted to us. And we have been given a lot. We have. The days each week, the weeks each year, that alone is a lot. And beyond that, there is the world, creation, the life we have, the things we earn, what we can do, all of those play into every other part of our life. Our stewardship committee spoke to this a few weeks ago, and we get to be reminded of it now. And it is something that we should be mindful of, always. And so revisiting that throughout the year is a helpful thing to do. What we do in the meantime matters. What we do with what we've been given, what we've been entrusted with, matters. It matters how we work to share God's love and live our lives in a way that reflects the fact that we know what we have been given, and reflects that we have heard the Master's words as the Master hands over that talent and says, I know you can do this. Amen.